How's everyone? How is everyone? Welcome, welcome. We are here live on TikTok and on YouTube. You guys want to talk about the worst financial stories? You guys want to talk about the worst financial stories? And my heart goes out to the people who are suffering financially right now. But let's go over some of the worst financial horror stories. And if you have one, feel free to comment it. Feel free. Feel free. So we're gonna go over some of them. So welcome, welcome. So a financial horror stories. First one. So a relative started his own business by maxing out two of my credit cards. Two of your credit cards? A relative started a business by maxing out your two credit cards. So here we have someone with two credit cards, and he lent them to his relative to start a business, and the dude maxed them out. It says already pretty bad. You shouldn't probably should. Oh, thank you for the likes. Probably shouldn't do that. So, this dude had a relative, and he maxed out two of his credit cards, which he was fine with, which was fine. He was making the payments every month on time. Okay, so it's still pretty good. So the dude maxed out his relative's credit cards. And then, but he was making the monthly payments every month. So that's pretty good, right? He just crashed his motorcycle last. Okay, so this is unrelated. He crashed his motorcycle last month and just got out of the ICU about 3 days ago. Won't be able to work again for months. Wow. So a huge turn of events. I was not expecting that plot twist. I thought he was gonna he maxed out his relatives' credit cards, and then he was just not paying him back. But no, the dude was actually making the monthly payments, but then he just crashed his motorcycle. Wow, and it was in the ICU for 3 days, and now he can't work. Wow, that sucks. That straight up sucks. Welcome, welcome. We are going over financial horror stories, so tune in. Welcome, what the fuck? ¿Cuáles trajiste? A ver. Which one? Let's get some blades. Hey, I like this. Let's get some blades. All right, welcome, welcome. So, here's a financial horror story. There was this guy who had a relative, and his relative maxed out two of his credit cards. What do you guys think happened next? The dude maxed out two of his credit cards. It was fine with the relative because he was paying the monthly, he was making the monthly payments every month on time. But then he got in a motorcycle accident, and now he can't work for months, which is absolutely terrible. That sucks. Student loans got me contemplating faking my own unaliving. Jesus Christ. Yeah, student loans are something so terrible in this country. Like, the education system in America really screwed over this generation and the future generations. I'm talking about people in their 30s, 20s going to college. We really screwed them over. Or like these boomers really screwed us over with debt. Like, these guys aren't really good with money. They're good at printing money. They're good at making money for war, but healthcare, education system, that is not a priority here. We are not like Finland. Someone said still writing my financial horror story. What the hell? Someone said they have 7K of $7,000 worth of debt on credit cards. Which is, which is insane. Yikes. Okay. Okay. We if you're in a tough financial situation, just remember, listening to these stories, it's not that bad and you will get over it. You could be diagnosed with and with a disease and be $300,000 in medical debt. Remember, guys, your financial situation isn't that bad. It's not that bad because we have people who unfortunately get diseases as they get older and then they have to go into medical debt and the debt is like $300,000. That is insane. So keep up, you know. You'll do good. You'll do good. You guys are fine. You guys are fine. Okay, here's more financial horror stories or poor financial mistakes. So had an employee talk about selling his car because his commission check wasn't supporting him and his bills. Okay. So an employee here was thinking about so this is the boss saying that one of his employees was talking about selling his car because his commission check wasn't supporting him or his bills. 1 hour later, comes back to the office bragging about the new gaming and home entertainment system he bought. Okay, that's kind of hilarious. That's actually funny. That's kind of funny. That is most people. Like that's pretty funny. See, this is why most people don't budget because they just buy stuff. You just sometimes have to go on Amazon and just get like some clothes, right? I don't blame you guys. It's not shiny object syndrome. It is how we cope with the stresses of life. So, yeah. So this dude was saying that was complaining that he can't pay his bills with his current job and he's thinking about selling his car. Then like and then an hour later he's talking about how he got an entertainment system about like a PS4 that he bought. He's he's bragging about how he bought a PS4 an hour later. So here's another unfortunate financial situation. So your aunt declared bankruptcy twice in her life due to never having learned her lessons. Recently, her husband's mother unalived and willied them a fully paid house. So they do want they do what any rational person would do and mortgage the house so they can renovate it. She just lost her job again, and now they are in danger of losing the house. Brilliant. You know, that's actually kind of sad. Sometimes all you can do is shake your head. Damn. That sucks. That is truly tragic. Welcome, welcome. ¿Ah? ¿Me agarro los tres o solo uno? Okay. All right. Welcome, welcome. So we're talking about financial horror stories. I know a guy who convinced his mom to mortgage her fully paid house so she could invest in his business idea. What? He convinced his mom to mortgage her house so she could invest in his business idea. Right before the market crashed, she lost her house. That is just terrible. That's like similar to those crypto stories. Hello, hello. That's similar to those crypto stories when you hear about them investing into an altcoin and then just losing everything. Like I don't know if you guys know the Terra Luna disaster that happened like 2 years ago, which was so sad. There was this guy. Terra Luna was getting all this hype for like a month, saying it's gonna go to the moon. It's gonna go to the moon. And then this unfortunate soul invested $3 million, $3 million of his hard-earned money that took decades to make. He invested $3 million into this altcoin that was all hype. This was like after Dogecoin. After Dogecoin, I think it was like Terra Luna, and people thought this was gonna go to the moon, and then he invested $3 million. $3 million. And then he lost it all. Like his investment was worth like a couple dollars at like $10 or something. It went from like, cause Terra Luna went negative. Like it was worth less than a penny. You're on vacation every single day because I have my occupation. Cause that's cool. That's cool. Damn, I know people who inherited paid off houses, but did budget for the taxes or could afford to insure it, or could afford to insure it. Sad. Wow, yo, this is getting me kind of sad. Looking at all these financial disasters, horror stories. One time, I saw a guy go through $500 in $20 scratch off lottery tickets at a cigarette store. He he dropped $500, won back nothing. He looked at the woman behind the counter and said, "Well, there goes my rent money," and walked out the door. Wow. I was shocked and appalled. He literally spent his rent money on lottery tickets. Wow. Wow. See, this is why you should make better financial choices, guys. Make better financial choices. That's just sad. He blew his rent money on lottery tickets. Wow. I guess everyone has their vice, right? Everyone has their vice. Some people it's gambling, some people it's drinking, some people smoking, some people's fast food, some people is, I don't know, other stuff. Isolation, depression. What else? Some people, I don't know. Okay, a married couple I know have never held down jobs. The guy keeps getting fired and the girl keeps quitting because of various reasons. My mother-in-law felt bad for them and let them move into her basement for peanuts for rent. Man lost his job again. Woman gets pregnant. Had the baby. Quit to take care of it. My too kind mother in law gave them a couple months of no rent to get back on their feet. When the guy got a job again, he kept making excuses about rent, trashed her house, never paid. She eventually evicted them for unpaid rent and damaging property. They still went to Disneyland. What? That is terrible. That is terrible. Thank you for the rose. That is terrible. Thank you for the rose, Sonic. Appreciate it. So yeah, welcome TikTok. This is like a new thing we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be talking about financial stories. We're gonna be talking about paranormal stories because we got too much free time. Too much free time in our hands. So we are gonna be talking about financial stories. That is terrible. Thank you for the rose. That is terrible. Yo, that sucks. So, this person's mother-in-law let this couple live in her house rent free. When they eventually got a job, they didn't pay rent, trashed her house, and went to Disneyland. Are you serious? That's just crazy madness. Irresponsible and rude. Jesus. They had a signed month to month lease. Damn. What are all these socks doing in the garbage can in your bathroom? I bought beer instead of okay, that's damn. The dollar amount isn't going to be nearly as high as some of the other stories here, but I worked at a convenience store. We had a few regulars that drank coffee and played dominoes. One guy was pretty down on his luck. He had been laid off just a few years ago, shy of retirement, and was fixing lawnmowers to earn a living. He used to buy a few lottery scratch off tickets here and there, but since he got laid off, it was like one a day. He liked the big $5 ones. One day he comes in, buys his coffee and the scratch off ticket, lottery ticket, and wins $250. He is completely convinced his luck has changed. So okay, that's a terrible decision. That was just that those type of things are one-offs. When you get lucky like that, that's that is not a pattern for like good luck. Like that is not a sign that your life is going to be filled with good luck all the time. Thank you for the chili peppers. You can search about Brawl Stars now. We'll do it later. Brawl Stars, we'll do it later. Uh, let's see. He won $10. Wow. Wow, he won $10, which he used to buy two more tickets, both of which were losing tickets. The 250 could have gone pretty far towards paying bills, groceries, but instead he basically lost it. That sucks. So he won money, and then he used that money to try to win more lottery tickets, and eventually lost it. Like, come on, man, your luck is not that crazy. Yeah, that sucks. $250 to $10. Terrible. I have seen two people who were previously lower middle class suddenly come into a windfall. One was $5 million, the other was 10 million. So these people were had $5 million and the other one was 10 million. Both promptly began working hard to. Yes, not only is it possible to blow that. Wow. Wait, what? Okay, so one was worth $5 million. The other one was worth how much? 10 million. And they began to work and learned that yes, not only is it possible to, to blow that money away, but it doesn't take very long to do that either. Wow. So they basically worked hard to make millions and they lost it all. Yikes, that burns. That just burns. Me saying that just burns. It burns my brain. Let's see. It was the usual story. Each was immediately surrounded by various families, often distant family members, friends they hadn't really had much contact with. One of the two regular attended church, and the pastor reminded her that tithing 10% was the right way to get right with God. Poof, when 10% of her total windfall. Of course, the pastor hopefully suggested she could deduct it from her tax bill that year. Both suddenly needed much bigger homes and flashier cars. Wait, so the pastors got rich off of that? This one always gets me because it's so avoidable. If I ever hit the lottery and have some familiar wins taking the amenities, buying a house, one modest in the cash, and carrying one as usual with suddenly increased annual income, I don't think annuities would make any money for you in terms of investing and interest. It would be better to take the money and invest it living off of said interest. Something Same thing with a house. Same thing with a house. Thank you for the lightning. Bzz, bzz, appreciate it. Same thing for the house. It would put a good down payment. Okay, let's skip this actually. All right. Okay. Okay. Dude at work had the power shut off. He moved his pregnant girlfriend and himself into a hotel room. It's not a Super 8 or Motel 6 costing them 200 a night. His excuse is to get the power on. They're going to have to pay like okay, this is too long. Too long of a story. Wait, someone signed a 25% year 5-year car loan. Not long after, she ran back to her ex-husband because she couldn't afford rent. He said no, which is considerably one of the best financial choices I've witnessed. Wow. 25%. How much how much are you going to be paying for that? As a car salesman, I witnessed a lot of poor people buying cars that they could never afford. This is most of America, by the way, but felt they needed because it gave them some kind of status. Yep, this is one of the top comments. A lot of people in this country buy a car they can't afford, like a $30,000 car. If you make $30,000 to $50,000 a year, you cannot afford a $30,000 car. Simple as that. You can even if you can afford the monthly payments, you cannot afford that car. You're gonna end up paying $50,000 to $60,000 for that car. If welcome, if you get that, you know. Let's see. Go back to the barracks of the army base in the U.S. parking lot, which with full of sports cars, modified subs. Everyone in those barracks will have the newest phone and the newest gaming system. The remaining money they have is used for exclusively for booze. Yes, that was okay. That's most Americans, I think. My ex-wife was complaining that when we were married, I should be paying all the bills since she couldn't afford to chip in at all. Eventually, I sat her down and went down her personal accounts to see how much exactly she was barely scraping by, making 50,000 a year while I was paying the mortgage, utilities, and grocery bills. The only thing she should have been paying was the car. She okay. I found she was spending $1,000 a month on her chiropractor, multiple weekly visits. She got a massage. She also visited their house nutritionist, who's charging her a few $100 a month to give her some weird diet. She also had a trainer in the most expensive gym in the town and refused to switch to Planet Fitness. She was hitting Starbucks multiple times a day. Multiple times a day. So you're saying she went to Starbucks in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the night. Okay, that is excessive. That is like unnecessary luxury. That is a little excessive. Welcome, welcome. A little excessive, don't you guys think? That is a little excessive. Welcome, welcome. Hmm. This is how the audio works. Then we've been live for like 30 minutes. Okay, okay. All right. Let's let's keep going. Let's keep going, guys. Financial disaster stories. Let's keep going. Welcome, welcome, sirs. Hello, hello. Hmm. Okay. I had someone who worked at Big W part time. 3 to 4 years ago, he bought a $20,000 BMW. See, most people cannot afford a $20,000 BMW with a $4,000 down payment, 10% interest rate over time. He got a new job earlier this year that pays a little better, but not much. A month ago, he traded in his Beamer and got some money down. Uh huh. Okay, so he basically sold this car to get a even more expensive car that he can't afford with similar loan conditions over a 7 year period. That sounds like a terrible idea. Work, college, $200,000 salary in his late 20s. His work colleague makes $200,000 a year, guys. 200K a year in his late 20s. Complains nonstop about interest rates and cost of property. He's also having no money, just bought an investment property with maximum leverage, living for free in an apartment owned by his family. Just spent $20,000 in an engagement ring, 100,000 loan on a car, and also complains that he can't afford a Rolex yet. He borrowed money from his family to pay bills last month. Wow. See, this blows my mind. How can you? I've seen it. I've seen it. You can make $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and still be broke by just being dumb with your money, by literally using credit cards with interest rate. Like you're basically asking these people to rob you. You're asking these people to rob you. So this guy probably used credit cards. Uh, but yeah, welcome, welcome. I know someone's parents who lived off of pension refused to downsize from her $1.8 million house and refused to touch her super. What does super mean? I keep seeing the word super thrown around. So her children will hopefully get an inheritance and constantly can't afford to eat because she was about 10 cats. She has about 10 cats. Respect the grind set. So this person, so this person's talking about themselves. This person is talking about themselves, guys. He bought a house for $150,000. Got talked into drawing upon the equity to buy a car. Yeah, I don't know about a lot. Why would you use your home equity for like stuff like that? I don't know. Should you even use home equity? Probably not, right? Probably not, unless it's because I don't know I don't know if you guys know who Caleb Hammer is. I watch him every now and then. He's pretty cool. Uh, but he had this guest on, who he was struggling. He was making I think 80 grand a year. He had a house, but then he had like so much debt. He had like student loans debt. He had like credit card debt, and I was like, wow, that's pretty bad. And then he would use his home's equity to donate to Twitch streamers and like I guess OnlyFans stuff. I don't know. It was bad. You sold your house, which is now where okay. So he bought a house for $150,000. Got talked into drawing equity to buy a car. Bought a car. Only had third party insurance. Totaled it because I they forgot to steer going around a corner and hit a pole. Went into further debt by getting another car because he needed it for work. Got more credit on credit cards. Bought a bunch of useless crap. Racked up 20,000, $30,000 in debt buying useless crap by the age of 24. That's crazy, bro. I had my mortgage car loan of $30,000 and about $60,000 in credit card debt. Wow. So his credit card debt increased over time and it totaled to $60,000. That is insane. That is oof. That is insane, guys. I'm grateful for that experience as it gave me what? So that he ended up selling his house, which is now worth 1 million, which is pretty good. $150. That's like a 7x return. That's not bad. Okay, so he's actually smart about it. I don't think it was a good learning experience, but I think he's good. He's good. He's good. So $150 turned into 1 million. So I'm pretty sure he was able to pay off his credit card and his car debt. In a way, I'm grateful for the experience as it gave me a wake up call. I needed to turn my financial life around. I'm doing pretty well now, but probably over leveraged because I feel like I need to make up for lost time. I'm also in a great job that I love and is well paying. Financial literacy sucks. I feel lucky that I was able to get out of that spiral. Yeah, some people never get out of that spiral. Yeesh. Yeah. My MAL owns two. My mother-in-law owns two houses worth $1 million each. She has a $400,000 loan that she got around 20 years ago, and it's interest only. She never paid it off. Guess what? She's now retired. Fantastic. She doesn't rent. She never paid it off. Guess what? She's now retired. Fantastic. She doesn't rent out either houses because she likes to be able to have the choice to go to her holiday home whenever she wants. Oh, and she blows all her money on expensive furniture and gadgets, but doesn't have enough money to fix her air conditioner. And of course, she would never sell either homes, but will instead complain about how she doesn't have any money, and apparently it's their husband's fault. She tried quite unsuccessfully to convince him to buy her a beach front home because he went no contact with her. Apparently, she deserves it for reasons. On the flip side, someone I used to be friends with had this outrageously idiotic boyfriend who didn't morally agree with working. So he lives off of dole. He got a $30,000 inheritance and blew it all in one holiday. He still doesn't have savings. Good for him, I guess. And my dad's stepbrother comes from wealth, the kind where you get half a million a year from family trusts. He blows it on drugs, so I guess there's that. That is crazy. Yo, some people just be fumbling their financial future. That's wild. Welcome, welcome, guys. Hello, hello. We're talking about financial horror stories. How people accumulate debt. So much debt, guys. If you have any financial horror stories, let me know. Please share them. Share them. Friends maxing out $20,000 earlier of super just to buy luxury bags, and one of the LV bags is just wow. See, I don't get it. I don't understand. My parents just increased rent on their investment properties. They don't have any mortgage. They're retired but don't need the money. But with all the talk of housing crisis, decided it needed to go up in price. Now they are looking at ways to spend the windfall of $2,000 a month. So they rest. I guess, yeah. In California, it is looked down on. If you increase your rent prices, you are viewed as an evil person in California. In California and New York, you are viewed as an evil person if you increase rent. Went to a friend's birthday dinner that had four cruises, four courses. All right, guys, welcome, welcome. Went to a friend's birthday dinner. They had four courses, not knowing the price. It was a nice Italian spot, but nothing crazy. People are ordering drinks left and right. It was an open bar. There was no way to split up who got the drink wise. It ended up being 291 per person without tax and tip, which basically was horrifying me since that is what my fiance and I spent on groceries for 3 weeks. Wow. So this dude went to a bar with people. He was just ordering drinks. He just ordered four drinks and it totaled to 291. 291, guys. Wow. This happened to me too. New Year's Eve bunch of trendy places in DC. Your husband went broke because he visited his friend who was an attorney at a big DC law firm. The friend wanted us to meet with a group of law friends and turned into a 3 hour affair with people ordering bottles of Proquesco. Ended up being almost $300 per person. Wow. When we got home, my husband and I went through our apartment and was made a pile of anything we could live without and sold it on Craigslist to make rent. Wow. Wow. I spent $500 on a laser hair removal package. What? Someone spent $500 on a laser hair removal package. Now that place is out of business because of Essential retired. Here's mine here's mine in a haiku. What? Okay, here's mine. I signed a private student loan. Terrible nightmare. I've heard private student loans, not student loans, private student loans are pretty bad. Don't know much about them, but I've heard they're you're basically gonna be in a lot of that if you get a private student loans. But yeah, welcome guys. Hello. Hello. I bought my first home in 2006. Within the year, its value decreased by 100K. I sold it 10 years later at a loss after having moved for job opportunity. Wow, that sucks. He ended up selling his house at a loss? Damn, so he lost 100K and then he moved. That sucks. Wow. So this lady, Rainbow Cannibal, she said she married a guy with an ambition with the ambition of a paper towel. He crashed out his 401k to start a business, but was constantly in debt due to purchasing new equipment. New equipment for what? Meanwhile, I worked steadily in the same job for 12 years. Bye bye half of my 401k. Yo, that is terrible. That is messed up. So he used his wife's 401k? Are you serious? That's kind of evil. That's terrible. Lord, I just bought the Bloomingdale's Beauty Advent Calendar. It's mostly a bunch of samples that shopper of luxury sweet items, and also because I tend to do an amazing job. Oof. After the wedding, I had planned on getting insurance in the holidays as it is a very busy time. 25. Wow, that sucks. So this person lost their wedding ring 3 months after the wedding. They planned to get insurance as it was a busy time. $25,000 gone. Wait, they had a $25,000 wedding ring? Are you for real, bro? $25,000 on literally a down payment, like a full car. You're rocking a car. Not even a Rolex is that expensive. Wow. Pretty sure they were thrown away with our takeout. That sucks. That is. Okay, so another wedding related. So 6 weeks after their wedding, they got in a car accident, not malicious or careless. It was a freak accident that but they were at fault. So the person telling the story said it was their fault they got in a car accident. I realized that my car insurance had recently lapsed and I had to buy a new used car during the early COVID car crisis. Yeesh. Pay my traffic ticket and towing fees and cut a check to the owner of the vehicle. Wow, I'm getting stressed just reading this. I am getting stressed. Welcome, welcome. We're talking about financial horror stories, guys. Hello, hello. I was nearly 20. Wait, what? So they paid off traffic ticket and towing fees and out a check of the owner of the other vehicle for more than value of the car. Unfortunately, it was 20-year-old car. It was nearly 20. It was a $20,000 mistake that wiped out almost my entire life savings, and I was freaking out because I thought I was going to prison for driving without insurance. It kills me to think that I could be $20,000 closer to a down payment. But such is life. Learn from me and auto enroll in insurance payments. When okay. I refinance a $35,000 what? So this person refinanced a $35,000 of federal student loans in the fall of 2019. I did not refinance $11,000 that were at a lower interest rate when the PSLF requirement changed. I had 10 years of payments that now qualify towards forgiveness. So I had $11,000 forgiven rather than the full amount that would have been forgiven had I not refinanced. Yo, that sucks. That is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. I now owe $20,000 and I'm on track to pay it off early in 2027. Yo, that sucks. They added the clown emoji too. Damn. That sucks. So had they not refinanced, their whole student loans would have been forgiven. But they refinanced 35,000 I guess like about they just owe $20,000 now basically. Wow. Welcome, welcome. K-pop and good vibes. Yep, yep. Well, this is different. This is going to be different, guys. This is for those who turned a financial disaster into a success story. See, this is what a financial crisis into a success story. This is what we need to hear. Enough of these disaster stories. Have you guys, if anyone's in chat, have any of you guys seen the Zillow horror stories? I want to do like maybe a video about that of the worst listings on Zillow. I want to see what Zillow's worst listings are. So for those who turned a financial crisis into a success story, What was your turning point? We often hear about financial turndowns, crashes, and personal crises that leave many struggling. However, within these stories, there are gems of resilience, ingenuity, and turnarounds that don't get highlighted enough. Whether it was a strategic decision, a change in mindset, and an unexpected opportunity, turning points can be incredibly inspiring and educational. For those willing to share, that was the turning point of your financial crisis what was the turning point of your financial crisis that led to your success story? What was it? A particular piece of advice that clicked, a risky investment that paid off, a change in career, or something as simple as adopting a new habit. Your stories could provide hope, guidance, and actionable insights to others currently facing financial lows. Their financial lows, yep. When I learned to stomach turndowns, then buy, buy, buy. Mmm. So this person is saying that they when they were finally when they were struggling financially, they just they bared with it. They bared with the financial struggle, and then they bought. When the market's in a turn down, I don't watch the financial news and try not to pay attention. I learned my lesson during the dot com bubble. I thought I was a genius with QCOM and others from the 90s and 2000s and all the Y2K hoopla. In the mid late January, there was like a 10% drop, and I was a genius. I rushed into to buy the dip. By mid March and April, I lost $300,000. Wow, that sucks. Yikes. They lost 300K. It taught me a valuable lesson. Max out retirement accounts with low cost mutual funds and save 15% of cash yearly income for emergencies. After that, purchase blue chip names and reinvest dividends. Wow. That sucks. Imagine that reminds me like that crypto story. You know that Terra Luna disaster we were talking about it earlier? So many people invested in Terra Luna only to literally lose everything, which is insane. Whew. That is uh then and only developer, okay. One of the most important. Yeah, this is why not like you hear all the financial experts, no one can predict the market. The Federal Reserve can't predict the economy. The president can't predict the economy. The people in charge of the government can't predict the economy. Retail investors can't predict the economy. Us, the viewers, can't predict the economy. We don't know how it's going to be in a month, in a year. And the best advice is to not time the market. It's like the best advice is like the tortoise. Be like the tortoise. That is the best advice. When it's bad, just deal with it. When it's good, you know what to do. Okay. Yeah, slow and steady wins the race. So here's another one. You buy your portfolio from red. So this person's asking, what brought my portfolio from red to green? You might think it's funny, but it was two YouTubers, Larry Jones and Stock with Josh. I thank to God for sending those two angels into my life. Learned a lot from them. So this guy became rich by just watching YouTube videos about finance. I'm gonna keep this as condensed as I can. Background info: college dropout with biology and chemistry degrees. Wanted to be a doctor. Got sick. Nosebleeds, headaches every day. Trouble remembering things. Docs said I was fine. Test Took tests. They said I was fine. But I still do not know what was wrong. No, I take antidepressants. When I dropped out, I got a second job as what? So they have a chemistry degree? Okay, so they were working towards a chemistry degree. And then when they wanted to be a doctor, but then dropped out. And now they have a security guard job, which is cool. Lost the guard job. How did you lose the security guard job? Went back to college. Still wasn't feeling good. I put in job applications in all 48 states. Really? I packed up, moved to Texas 2 weeks later. Had a phone interview, finding an apartment. 3 months later, let the roof shingle factory from a contractor. So they ended up getting a job in another state. They moved away, got a job in another state, struggled hard, got the eye on the VP of the company for my hard work. I basically solo saved the contract. Long story. He got me a transfer of a chemical plant in Massachusetts, big pay raise. So after wow, so this person's a doer, guys. He couldn't find a job in his state, so he applied to jobs in literally 48 states. He ended up getting something back from Texas, moved to Texas. Over time, he was doing a good job. Then the company, I don't know, wait, is it a company or no? Yeah, he got an offer to work at a chemical plant in Massachusetts. That's so weird. Welcome, welcome. How are you? Today, my liquid assets are a total of 130,000. I paid off medical debt, moved and moving debt, and I'm intending to keep $40,000 a year. Okay, so this guy can now retire. So at this guy, he did the math pretty good. He's like, by the age of 45, I'll be able to retire with $40,000 a year. So like, wow, that's not bad. That's pretty good. So by the time he's 45, he can not work anymore, and he'll be just wasting $40,000 a year. But is that livable though? Is that livable in today's economy? I guess. I guess yes. $40,000 a year. Okay. Okay. They live below their means. Their base salary is 95,000. Okay. Okay. Never mind. I'm not kidding when I tell you I crushed my mental health doing this. I am better today, but still not where I was pre getting sick. Yeah, this person said that while he was in college studying chemistry, he basically had bunch of headaches, did not feel like himself, was down, and had constant nosebleeds. I think that's a health problem, my guy. I'm pretty sure that is health related because I used to have nosebleeds like a couple years ago, pre-pandemic. I would have a couple nosebleeds a year, and it's probably because of the way that I ate. Mm, but yeah, this person said, I don't think they're in a better mental place, actually. They said they crushed their mental health. They're better today, but not pre getting sick. Yeah, okay, so that sucks. So maybe I think he got sick because he was maybe pursuing something he hated just to go to medical school. Yeah, he chemistry is a very difficult subject. I do not blame him for hating chemistry and dropping out. Pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Someone said, share your financial stories, financial horror stories to make me feel better. Jesus. Jesus. I spent $10.37 on Powerball tickets once. Could have become a 100 millionaire. What? Stuck to index funds ever since. What? They didn't say that they won or lost. I'm pretty sure they lost, but what? How is this the top comment? Oh yeah, they didn't win the Powerball. Okay, okay. My tail is more of a close but no cigar. I bought a 2,500 zero shares on float with $1 each. I moved to Melbourne shortly after and sold them. I made a small profit, but in the 3 years following it was around $40. Now it's at 90. Oof. Wait, you sold this when it was $1.20? 3 years later, it's $40, and now it's at 90. That sucks. You could have made a 90x. That's crazy. One day in 2011, my dad gave me 10 bitcoins as a joke gift. He spent around $500 on them. I sold them for about $2,000 to pay my credit card a while later. Yeah, in 2017, I learned Bitcoin was starting to become popular in 2017, and when it was raising up in prices, I remember a lot of people sold it because they're like, "Why is it so high?" I was like, "I'm gonna sell it." They didn't think Bitcoin was gonna be like worth 10,000 one day. But yeah, I remember stories of people saying that. The other was Afterpay. I filled in the form of the float and forgot to mail it. When I found out it was too late, I'd missed the boat. 2,500 shares. Damn, that sucks. Okay, dude, I don't even start saving until I was in my 30s. I don't think things are too bad when you stand. My philosophy back then was to spend what I earned to keep up with the Joneses. Wow. Welcome, welcome. Bought crypto and and lost 65%. Wow. So whatever they put into crypto, they lost 65%. Yeesh. Ugh. One day and swing traded for a while and made something like $100 gain. A whole bunch of research, sleepless nights, anxiety, sweat and tears for $100 over a year. That is just bad strategy. That is just you betting on lady luck. I spent $800 on a Lululemon activewear this month and can't return most of it because it was on sale. I don't like it in person. Got seduced by the panic of sales time shopping. So much. Damn. That sucks. Welcome, welcome. We're going over financial horror stories, guys. Welcome, welcome. One can lose money almost anywhere, passively. If you don't watch where your money is going, I think the average Joe loses more than you lost with your gambling. My biggest mistake, I didn't manage my super, never compared performances or thought about much of it. Got screwed in 2008, then got screwed during the recovery of 2019. Got 50% return on one of the longest bull run markets. What a joke. Almost 3%. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, guys. Almost 3% fees, seriously useless insurance a year. My example is probably extreme, and things have been improving, I hear. In November, I've moved in cash, fixed income mix. In February, ah, sorry, I got a headache. My bad. In November, I moved it to cash fixed income. In February, moved to cash only. The 15 years I had other managing my super, I calculated a loss of 3,000 AUD. Listened, learned, read, and started to achieve managing all my investments. Well, I moved back to my parents to save money with my tail between my legs. Those years living alone was personal financial mishap, in my opinion. What did I gain? A bit of independence, maybe, but it wasn't cheap. Of course, I am not freeloading, helping them pay the house. Yeah. Did you guys know a lot of people in their 20s are still living in their parents? I'm talking about like late 20s, early 30s. These people are still living with their parents because rent is unaffordable. You will literally just pay work for rent or your car. That's why people say the American economy is not that good. People have jobs, but they're paying off rent. They're getting into debt with their car, and basically they're using their salary to pay off rent, and then eating out, obviously, because you need to survive. Eating, buying some stuff like an Amazon clothes or something, and then getting into debt with a car. That is where most people mess up. They get into debt getting a car. Hello, hello. Everyone has stories. Okay. Yeah, life is a marathon, not a sprint. I could say I lost $10,000 in a day and you would be shocked. But if I said I had $1 million invested, then that is only 1% change. It is not unusual for my portfolio to go up or down and occasionally more. So, in the large scheme of things, $15,000 is not the end of the world. Everyone has stories of losses and gains. If you don't lose money, if you haven't lost money, then you are either a liar or have never purchased shares in companies. Also, no matter how bad you think you have gone, there's always someone worse off. Keep on saving, keep on investing, think long term, buy and hold for 20 years at least. Good luck. Yeah. That's basically the same advice I've had from like older people that I've asked over the years. They're like, if you invest in stocks, don't think about it. It's not a year it's not a year thing. It's a multiple year thing. So think of it as $50,000 financial lesson. People pay more for entry into a pyramid scheme and never learn. Just make sure you learn from your mistakes. Although I didn't gamble my money away, I definitely wasted more than $15,000 trying to keep up with the Joneses. Wow. Uh, so, so my roommate tried to convince me to invest $6,000 into Bitcoin when it was at 70 cents. Are you serious? Wow. He bought maybe $500 and was convinced it was going to be huge. I couldn't understand how this weird money worked, so I spent the money on partying instead. Wow. So this dude's roommate told him about Bitcoin when Bitcoin was 70 cents. And then his roommate kept telling him to invest his $6,000 into Bitcoin. He eventually sold for $700. At the time, I was kicking myself. He kicked himself for selling. Now, I was just before the big explosion. Wow. So these two knew about Bitcoin, and then his friend invested $500. He didn't even double his money. When it went to 700, he sold it. That sucks. Okay, so this person said they got divorced and lost 80K. I mean, of course, yeah. You gotta pump those numbers up to stir rookie numbers. At 29, your dad has been a trader in debt and their house is falling apart because he's in denial about his gambling addiction. Wow, so he gambles, he day trades. That's basically gambling, guys. Good on you for catching it early. Yeah, it ruins lives. Gambling ruins lives. After selling our family home, we had to go overseas for 3 months. And okay, this is weird. I'm not gonna read that. I feel. Yeah, yeah. To the dude who lost $15,000. Yeah, that's good. A lot of people are making him feel better. A lot of people spend a lot more money than $50,000 on their education and don't learn a fraction of the lesson you taught yourself. Yep. True, true. Welcome, guys. Like the live, share the live. Welcome, welcome. Not a horror story, but after reading all about investing, um, and how it's a much better job to go with index funds, you went out on a few stocks, you wanted to give it a shot. Some kind of good, most recently, others lost and are still low. All to find myself primarily in index funds where I should have stayed and probably had better returns. But it's a mistake, and my actual actions have caused me to really see what I did wrong. You can read the right way for years, but sometimes you need experience for yourself. I think the initial experience while you are still young is still valuable. True. Yeah, tragedy when you're in your early 20s is a good teacher. So welcome, guys. Hello, hello. Yeah, $15,000 is not that bad. You bought a car for 15K and only put $16,000 in modifications. Only put $60,000 in modifications. I'd be lucky to sell it for 30,000. Wow. I don't know, man. Those better have been some cool modifications. Okay, let's move on. So, what is the worst financial mistake of your life? The first, this person said, letting my credit card debt skyrocket. In my defense, I was out of work and almost homeless, paying them off, then doing it again. This time I was just dumb. It's only $100. I'll pay it later. Then 10 grand later. Wow. So what the hell? How does that happen? How does your $100 of debt turn into $10,000 of debt? How? That's insanity. Going into debt for your parents, took extra student loans, dropped out of school. Wow. So this dude took on multiple student loans, ended up dropping out of school because he kept asking for money and I needed to work two jobs to support us. Wow. So he was going to school on student loans and working two jobs. Put a new car. Okay, that's just dumb. They got while they were in school and working two jobs. Those two jobs were definitely not full time. They were either like 10-hour jobs or like two part-time jobs. But while having two jobs and getting into student loan debt, they decided to go into car debt as well. Wow. The car got repossessed because they said they would pay it but didn't and dumped it on me. Turns out they have a gambling addiction. Getting myself together now. I was such a pushover back then. That sucks. I once bought a beer for a point 0.7 of a Bitcoin. Yikes. Point 0.7 of a Bitcoin. That's an expensive beer, sir. That is more than $30,000. That's like a $40,000 beer. When I was in college, I saw some of those will give you a lump sum of cash commercials. My previous worst financial mistake was not understanding that credit cards need to be paid back. Are you serious? How? How did you not know this? I didn't understand the big difference between some student loans and credit cards. I had some debt piled up. I figured it'd eventually be consolidating my debt, and I'd only have to keep track of one payment instead of three or four. The only thing that kept this from being a huge disaster were those loans charged something like 30% interest, and was the only case where snooping was beneficial. See, I left my email up and so their parents paid off the debt immediately. That's nice. That's sweet. Getting yikes. Yeah, getting married young and then getting divorced later got them into debt. That sucks. Yo, that is rude. That is just rude. So this lady said that her ex-husband told her that she shouldn't bother saving for retirement. That's just messed up. What on earth did he think was that good advice? That sucks. She was crying because she was able to afford groceries that month. That sucks. Damn. That's wow. Uh, Putting my ex on credit cards. That's actually kind of funny. I wanted to help build his credit. like I had with their mom. The dude maxed the $11,000 limit, of course. I don't know. And the great card all down the drain. Oh my god. This person's username is I am a burden on society. Jesus. Hiring an accounting firm for my house, home-based business. Yo, so this is someone like in their late 30s, early 40s. Yo, you good, bro? Why is your username I am a burden to society? Hiring an accounting firm for my home-based business. I ended up owing the accountant more than I was making in income. Had to close the business because I couldn't pay the what? How? This is not right. Sure, you had some kind of tax thing that were submitted. They had to catch up. They outside. The only reason the counter would charge you that much more monthly fees that you agreed with that fee. Wow. Yeah. How? That's ridiculous. How would you do things differently now? My finances were a mess when I had a home-based business. If I were to okay, this person, what the hell? Why would you hire an accounting firm? Why? You can't do that yourself. You can't learn QuickBooks. You can't learn. There's so many QuickBook tutorials on YouTube. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Yikes. Waiting so long to switch jobs to start making more money. Drinking my paycheck for 4 years. Wow. This is just sad. Drinking my paycheck for 4 years. I hope they're doing better, yeah. Getting married? Jesus, that sucks. How can you get married and then be miserable? See, guys, these are not the life goals you should be striving for. You should be striving for a good marriage. Should, I don't understand that. I think the people who struggle with marriage have not built social resilience. You know, like troubles, adversities, like dealing with difficult people. If you don't have experience dealing with difficult people, you basically have no hope in the real world. You have no hope in the real world. You're gonna break. So yeah, welcome, welcome, guys. If you have horror stories, please let me know. All right, let's see. This is a very long story. Whoa. So working in the car industry for years, you see horrible decisions being made on a daily basis. Yeah, working in the car industry as a car salesman, you are setting up that person, the person signing that auto loan. You are making them go through financial hardship if they cannot. Most Americans cannot afford their car, which is I don't know why you would even bother to like get an expensive car just to flex. The best advice I've gotten from YouTube, all these financial people, experts, the dudes who like Gordon Ramsay, who have been through the dot com bubble, the real estate crash, and COVID. The dude always says, if you cannot afford the car in cash, you cannot afford it. Even if you have monthly payments. Even if you can afford the monthly payment. But if you can't afford the whole car in general, you cannot afford the car. Like you are setting yourself up for financial misery. Like that's 5 years of your check, dude. Just going to cars, going to the car, burning it away, working for your car. Like it's like me working for Uber, spending all your money on Uber. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. It's basically the same thing, except you don't own the car. You just have Uber. Anyways, working in the car industry for 10 years, saw horrible decisions being made on a daily basis. 96-month loans on Dodge Caravas with a $10,000 of negative equity rolled up into 10% interest. 30 grand used BMW, $30,000 for a used BMW 84-month loans with finance office add-ons. Literally, see a 30 grand 4 to 5 year old German car used 70 grand loan into wow. So they're 30 grands over the next 4 to 5 years. They're going to be end up paying 70 grand. See, this is what I said. I was gonna buy a $20,000 car like 2 years ago. It's $20,000 car. I was gonna put $5,000 down, and then pay $500 on a monthly basis. 500. I like gasped in shock. Why 500? I expected 300 max, and they said they could only do 500. So I walked out. I'm like, I am not paying $500 a month for a car. That's not including insurance, gas. I'll pass. So I ended up buying a $6,000 car instead of a $20,000 car that I was going to end up paying $40,000 in total. Could you imagine if I took that offer? Could you imagine if I was dumb enough to take that offer, or like had an ego that yeah I want to be seen in the cool car? Nope, you do not. That means you care more about what other people think than your own life. That is terrible. That is not a good mindset to have. Anyways, I have no idea how people sign up for these loans without reading what they have gotten themselves into. Yeah, you see it all the time. I was like, these people, like same thing with Teslas. I don't understand why people get a Tesla. That is so expensive. If I was making $100,000 a year, I would not get a Tesla. Maybe like 2 years ago I would, but not anymore. I would not get a Tesla, guys. Hell no. Too expensive. Too expensive. I've heard financing them is expensive. Welcome, welcome, guys. Wow. I've known multiple people who turned down opportunities for additional income. So these people have turned down different jobs. They've turned down overtime. They've turned down a promotion because they think that they will lose money by moving up a tax bracket. Oh yeah, that's a real thing. I'm pretty sure if you make $70,000 a year, you're better off making $70,000 a year than I think 100K. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. It's like around that price range, because when you make 100K, you get taxed way more. You get taxed way more. So it's like you're making 70K. If you make 70K, you're getting taxed like I think $15,000. You're gonna be making 55,000 a year, or I think it's 80K. Yeah, it's better to make 80K than 100K. because it's only gonna be like I think it's $8,000 in difference is because you have to pay taxes, guys. So once you go up, I think it's like 70K or 60K, you pay more taxes. So it's better to be making $80,000 a year than $100,000 a year. Because if you make $100,000 a year, you're gonna get taxed like $30,000, 30 plus that. You're gonna be making 70K. If you make 80K, you're gonna be making like 60 something K, 60K. So come on, it's way better to make $80,000 or 80 something thousand dollars than $100,000. But yeah, this person is correct. The people that turned down the different job, the overtime, the promotion, they did a smart choice. Yeah. If if you get a job offer, if you're making like $80,000 a year and then you get a job offer with $100,000 a year, you're better off working that $80,000 a year job because you are gonna get taxed a lot more making $100,000 a year. I think you're only gonna be making like no. I think you're gonna be making less. Yeah, if you get that like promotion or overtime. One guy I know said his single mom struggled to raise him because she couldn't afford to do overtime work, and she passed her misunderstanding of how tax brackets work onto him. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It depends on your tax bracket. Overtime is good if you're making like less than 60,000. But when you're making more, you're basically asking them to tax you more. Putting my money into a high yield savings or NG high savings account and leaving it for 10 years or more finally came around last year and had all the money transferred and seeing better returns within 8 months than I had in 8 years. Live and learn, I guess. So this person said that their family member has filed for bankruptcy twice. They worked at a company for 30 years, all while investing their matching pensions plan. So this person that went into bankruptcy, we're getting their backstory right now. So they worked for 30 years and invested in the matching pension plan. By the time he got laid off, he had a six-figure severance, gone about gone. It this the money was gone by 8 months, but that didn't really matter because he'd always have his pension, right? Well, about 10 years before he left, the company he worked for bought got bought, and he really hated the new owners. They're a bunch of a-holes, he constantly said. He could lament the way they ran the company every day. He continued to contribute to the pension until his last day. A few weeks after he left, he met a guy in a bar who was a money guy, eye roller, and he assured my dad that he could more safely invest the funds in his pension than the publicly traded investment firm, which he okay, that's a terrible idea. If a dude starts giving like in person, starts telling you how you should use your money, it's probably if a dude like constantly uh it, it- like it's telling you how you should use your money, he's probably a shady dude. Let's see. And I'm not talking about like the invest in index funds, not that type of like. Telling you you should put your money in here and here. Like, uh, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Mm. with the funds that were invested through the. He's 59 at this point, and he's eligible to start receiving payouts at 62. So he could a couple years. So against my strong urging, he withdrew the lump sum of his pension and gave it to this guy he met at a bar. So this dude's dad had money saved up, and then he gave it to this random stranger he met at a bar. My dad said he was going to invest it in corporate bonds. Clearly, he had absolutely no idea what he was doing. I asked him why he's doing it. He said, owners of his prior company are all a-holes, and they're going to steal that money from me. I'm not going to let them. I'll show them they can't steal from me. Totally emotional and irrational decision from a man who never knew the first thing about money, how investments works, and how pensions are managed. Anyone can care to guess what happened. The guy disappears. Money is completely gone, and my dad is embarrassed to do anything about it. Yeah, that that is irrational. Giving your money to a stranger for them to invest in? Nah, I'm good. So he lives on a shitty, gross apartment. He had previously lost his home by refinancing it too many times. Works at a liquor store now and is continuing to drinking himself to death. A lifetime of savings washed away because he was an idiot. Wow. So he literally saved for retirement for 30 years, and he was dealing with some like the management was treating him terrible, and that was affecting his mood, and it made him to like give this guy his money. He's like, I'm going to show them they're not going to steal my money. That what a okay, that's dumb. This is why the Stoics say you need to have a calm mind, because then anger is going to control you. I really resonate with that. Welcome, welcome, guys. Hello. Ooh, what is this? Okay, that's just dumb. This is the classic. I'm reading right now. Classic getting into car debt. Buying a new Dodge Ram. Yup, yup. Buying a new car is a terrible idea, guys, for your financial well-being. Like you'll have a good car, but at what cost, right? At what cost are you going to have a good car? I know a few medical students that got themselves into $250,000 LOC from a bank and proceeded to just spend it as if they're rich. One guy even went out and bought a Porsche with it. Some of them even apply to get their limits increased. I knew someone who by the time they were in residency owed $300,000 of their LOC. I get that they're doctors and will likely be able to pay it off eventually, but that thousands of dollars squandered in interest, even at a subprime interest rate, they're also banking on being able to work later. If life happens and they cannot work anymore for whatever reason, they are screwed. Yeah. Like that motorcycle story we read earlier. So there is this guy who wanted to start a business, and then he asked his relative for two of his credit cards. He maxed them out. He used his relative's two credit cards to start their business, and then he was actually making the monthly payments on the credit cards. But then A month later, he got in a motorcycle accident, and now he can't work for months, which is he can't pay off the credit cards anymore. He's broke. And now he got physically ill, physically injured in a motorcycle accident. Yeesh. My friend has no savings. He earns $120,000 a year and receives a $12,000 bonuses. My friend takes that entire bonus in cash and turns it into a $6,000 after taxes. I advise my friend to take the $12,000 and put it in an RRSP tax shelter. After completing his taxes, he would get a lot of it back and still have his $12,000 in investments. My friend said he wants the cash and doesn't mind working until he dies. That is his decision. I don't see nothing wrong with that. If he loves to work, that is fine. Old couples and his wife has a gambling issue. Husband wants to keep her joint on all accounts against advice. Bye bye money. Wait, so the husband is spending his wife's money on gambling? That's ridiculous. Jeez. Everyone probably has a friend like him. I've seen my friend buy over the years 4 times in about 6 years span. If you ask him what he's made in real estate, but he doesn't account for any of the fees. At the same time, I've seen him turn a trip to the grocery store into financing a new sub with each house purchase. He would upgrade or get a new car as he drove it to the store in an old beater, and 5 years later rolled up financing his latest car, which I'm sure he owes more than double what could sell it for. I can't imagine his finances. Wow. So he works in real estate and he's making terrible financial decisions, getting a new car over and over again, paying double. Okay, that's. Ooh. An old friend of mine couldn't afford to pay rent because she had no control over spending and didn't know how to budget. So her solution was to get a payday loan. That's kind of funny. So this girl couldn't pay rent and couldn't budget. So she decided to get a payday loan. Then she got trapped into the payday loan cycle. Her friend was a terrible record of decision making, and we aren't really friends anymore. I tried to help her, but she wouldn't listen. I gave up eventually. That sucks. A friend received 100 grand, and his father squandered it into a custom truck. Okay, that is literally squandering your money. You wasted $100,000 on a custom truck? Excuse me? Like one of those lower trucks where everyone in the club has the same decal and the back window. Somehow this makes it more annoying. And this was back when houses were $2,000 in my era. Wow. So that car must have been cheap. And then he just wanted to be like Tony Stark with it. My father apparently didn't have a clue how to manage any of his finances. Uh, every time I saw him, he just looked worse and worse. The stress he felt must have been horrible. Massive heart attack at 53. That sucks. I had a very hard lifestyle and didn't take care. He had a very hard lifestyle and didn't take care of himself very well. Damn, I was determined to try to understand why he always looked awful and seemingly had no money. I went through his financial stuff, which wasn't easy. He didn't like technology, didn't own a computer, and dealt with paper statements. From looking at his paycheck, he made really good money from 2010 to 2016, he made an average of $80,000 a year. He had no car payments, lived in a shift apartment, and he paid maybe $800 a month in a rent. He had no car payment, lived in an apartment. He paid maybe $800 a month in rent, and had no expensive consumer products. All of his furniture was at least 10 years old. From my investigation, I found that he had a maxed out Visa and 300 in the bank, 16,000 in work, and what? From his bank statements, I could see a vicious cycle of payday loans that he was taking out. However, this wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the cash withdrawals. At times, he was taking out $1,000 a day, but in odds amounts. It wouldn't be all at once. He'd take out 300, then another and another like clockwork, almost every Friday and Saturday. To this day, I don't know for sure what he was doing with those $1,000. And now I know it wasn't drugs because of TOX, but I believe it's another addiction, gambling. He mentioned to me a couple of times how he occasionally would play VTL at the bar by his house. I'm almost positive that those machines drained his entire life away, literally. Yikes, that is sad. I think crypto's the new gambling. People are expecting to make so much money with crypto, but then they end up losing everything. That's how you hear horror stories. Okay, one moment. ¿Más vino un paquete? Okay. All right. Welcome, welcome. My bad, my bad. Had to check something. Yeah. I didn't know how terrible gambling addiction could be in a person's life. That sucks. Guy who works for a bank here. Oh yeah. There used to be a bank by where I live. It shut down. Where I live, they've shut down two banks. But when it was up and running, the bank teller that like was helping me get a credit debit card, he would just be bragging about his lifestyle. He says, "I live in a $3,000 apartment in downtown." I was like, if I make enough money to afford a $3,000 apartment, I would not spend it on a $3,000 apartment. I'm like, that is such a waste. And he lived by himself, he said. I was like, damn, that sucks. I would get a cheaper one. You would literally save $24,000 by living by yourself in a very cheap apartment. You would save $24,000 instead of $3,000 for like being at a home for 8 hours after you leave your work. I was spending several hundreds of dollars on alcohol, mostly wine, but some scotch, a month for about 2 to 3 years, ending little over a year ago. Luckily, I was making good money, and at the time, expenses were low, so I was still maxing out TFSA or RSP and have no debt, but man, that was a lot of money basically wasted. Guy who works for bank here. Once I had a customer who co-signed a mortgage for some guy she met at a party once. Are you insane? This lady co-signed a mortgage with the guy she met at a party. Guess who then decided to stop paying the mortgage once he had found a patsy whose credit he could destroy? Wow. Yo, you gotta watch out for those scam artists. Gotta yikes, bro. When you hear your best friend asking the two following questions, you know they're screwed. I need to file taxes. I need to pay back ASAP. I spent $190 fixing two pairs of shoes that weren't fixed properly. It's not the worst, but it hurts thinking about it because I'm an in debt student. Worst ever was a friend's cousin who lived in California. He was in his mid 30s, never finished college, was working for around $50,000 a year at a software company. He decided to go back to school so he could earn more. Accepted into some California public schools, but no, not good enough. Went to university, a private university in New York, so he could tell people he goes to university in upstate New York. Are you serious? That so this dude, what? He moved to New York to study to university so he could say he goes to university in upstate New York in quotes. It's $60,000 a year there with accommodation. And even at 33, he decided to live on campus. He only did 2 years to finish his degree. So 120. What? He only did 2 years. So $120,000 down the hole, plus $30,000 for 2 years of living expensive. Now he's in grad school, master's, now 2 more years. The program is $30,000 a year, plus $20,000 for student accommodations, plus living expenses. Total, that's $230 to get a master's degree in psychology. Are you serious? The dude was saying, I need to go back to school to make money and majored in psychology. Guys, do you know what's the most common major in college? Psychology. Do you know how fewer jobs there is for psychology? Very, very, very few. Only like people with masters get degrees, get jobs in psychology. Yikes, bro. Are you serious? In his mid 30s, he made this terrible decision to go back to school, got his bachelor's, got his master's in psychology. Not sure how high that lump his salary above $50,000 annually, but ouch. I cringe thinking about his situation. Oh, and he bought a brand new Golf GTI before moving to New York just to treat himself. Are you serious? Wow. I think he should have just kept at his $50,000 job. I'm pretty sure that degree in psychology is not going to help him at all. I know someone that bought a B class at 30. What is a B class? What is a B class? Okay, it's a type of car. A Mercedes. 30% interest rate. Her car right now is worth half of her outstanding balance. Wow, guys, these are some crazy, crazy, crazy financial stories. What do you guys think? I'm in shock. These people in these terrible situations. Burning friend burning 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 friends by asking for emergency money based on the fake story that you will never repay. screams you make terrible financial decisions. I quit drinking but took up a Lego addiction. It was a cheaper getting drunk. What? A private in a branch of military buying a Dodge Charger. When you ask, so this screams, I make terrible financial decisions. When you ask them how much they paid for something and they only know the monthly payment amount. So this is, yeah. Another common thing is buy now, pay later loans. Those are terrible. Company like companies like Affirm making it, I think that you are going to, it helps in some cases, but that shouldn't be everything, guys. You should not finance furniture, appliances, clothing. You should not finance that. If you can't afford it, if you can't pay it up front, you can't afford it. A lot of like wealthy people that I've seen is a lot of them have this in common. Some have a little bit different. Some like, but a couple of them have said the same thing. That they said that when they go buy something, they're like, "Would I pay double for this?" Like if they have a shirt, if it's a $20,000 shirt, if it's a $20 shirt, a lot of like wealthy people ask themselves, "Would I pay $40 for this?" If the answer is yes, buy it, because that means you appreciate it. If the answer is no, then get a cheaper shirt. But I've seen like YouTubers say that, like financial YouTubers say that they will not buy something because when they are about to make a purchase, they ask themselves, would I pay three times the price? Some of them are like very extreme. Some of them are like uh very extreme, very frugal too. Let's see. Making impulsive decisions right after getting paid. Wow, yeah, that's a terrible one. I know someone who is always struggling with money. Then I found out he has individual cups of Dunkin' Donuts coffee delivered to him via third party apps while he's working at home. Instead of making a pot of coffee, instead of making a pot of coffee for yourself, people who can't pay rent but gotta get a new tattoo. I mean, tattoos are cool. I don't mind. Can't pay rent but never misses a night out. Having on top of the line everything with a minimum wage job, unless you are an unlicensed pharmacist on the side. Yeah. Yeah, guys. So you can get rich working a minimum wage job. Have you guys heard that story of that janitor who became a millionaire? I think it took him like 20 or 30 years, but he became a millionaire. I think it was $8 million that he had accumulated. So, yes, you can become rich working a minimum wage job. It is possible. Every time you get a chunk of cash, you think you have to find a way to spend it. Yeesh. This is a poor person thing. I had a roommate like this. It's pretty sad because it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Of course, people who aren't desperate and out of money all the time think, why wouldn't you just save the extra 200 grand, 200 grandma gave you for your car, if your car, for when your car breaks down again. But to them, they never have extra money. The next shoe this next shoe dropping is inevitable, and they will figure it out then. It will suck regardless. You might as well actually get some small luxuries for once because they can afford it. Or who knows when that will happen again. It's like being starved for the smallest bit of pleasure of happiness and finally being given a loaf of bread. You can parse you can parse it out and make it last, but it feels so good to eat the whole thing. Expensive flashy cars in a low rent apartment complex parking lot. Ooh, yep, that is true. Guys, this is true in LA. Walking around the neighborhood, you see some fancy cars, but I'm like, why would you get a fancy car? I recently went near Marina del Rey, like that area, and all the cars in the street were pretty cheap. They were like $4,000 cars. They weren't luxury fancy cars. You see those in downtown, but those people are mostly like rich. But yeah, expensive flashy cars in a low rent apartment complex parking lot screams I make terrible financial decisions. Uh when you have a 150,000 allowance. What? You who has that type of bzz, bzz. Thank you, Sonic, for the lightning bolts. Thank or for the corn. Thank you. Welcome guys. We are talking about financial stories, financial horror stories. What screams I make terrible financial decisions? You own an ape NFT. Yeah, NFTs went downhill. NFTs in general. Agreed. I don't know. Were NFTs too early? Are NFTs like flying cars, guys? Are they just too early? Are they just too early for this? Because I never understood the hype. That's like rich people being dumb, buying JPEGs for thousands of dollars. They're like, but you own it. I'm like, people were arguing, I can save it to my computer and then still say I own it. But then the person was like, the other person with the NFT would be like, but I still own this. I'm like, okay. I don't know what you would use it for. Let's be clear, no one owns a Bored Ape. What's the purpose of NFTs? The purpose of NFTs is to it's I would say the only good thing that happened with NFTs were that artists got support. Like, people who draw digital art, they're basically broke. And NFTs gave those people a big bull run. They gave them a bunch of money basically. Like, it was a hype train for NFTs were like a hype train for artists. Artists made so much money. Like, that story of Beeple, the dude who made 5,000 digital art pieces and then one of them sold for like $60 million, which is insane. But yeah, I don't. Let's see. What is the purpose of NFTs? They're digital assets that can represent real world digital items, such as art, music, videos, and more. They are stored on a blockchain, which it's still pretty new. The only things that use blockchain are basically NFTs and crypto. Some financial stuff is being used, but no one's really using the blockchain. Renting furniture is a terrible financial decision. And they're like, this is a thing? Renting furniture is a thing? Making questionable and risky financial decisions today because you think you will be a better position in the near future, you might be or you might not be. In fact, if you're the type of person who makes financial decisions this way, it will almost certainly be the latter. Damn. Getting Getting into debt to buy luxury products online, the vast majority of luxury customers aren't millionaires. Yeah, you do not see millionaires rocking luxury products. They're regular people who earn below six figures. They are 100% the target demographic. For many luxury brands, middle class people try to pretend they're much wealthier than they are. It is just bigger pool of people anyway. They then just target the rich, and the second, many luxury brands aren't even quality products. They're the same material as cheap products, just with special logos screwed on them. Rich folk can afford actual quality stuff and don't focus on showing off specific brands. Basically, their actual product is fake wealth. That is on the topic of fake wealth versus real wealth. Trying to look rich versus actually being rich. They're not really selling handbags. They're selling make believe rich. Wow. That is a good point. They are not selling you a product. They are selling you make believe rich. Wow. The story of make believe rich. Oh, thank you for the heart. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it, appreciate it. This should be higher. Gucci, Louis Vuitton brands with pedigree that now profit from middle class trying to appear rich, while the genuinely rich are avoiding grotesque branding. Even if you budget genuine, if the rest of your outfit isn't on the same level, we all assume it's fake, which is the opposite of what the original intent is. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. If you like wearing it, that is fine. $3,000 on wheels on a $3,000 car. That is a terrible financial decision. When someone would rather go out than pay their light bill, that screams they make financial decisions. Trying to control your submarine with an off-brand PlayStation controller? What? Huh? As a college student, you're supposed to take out loans so you can go on trips and gain life experiences. What? A former classmate of mine. I just want to clarify that this person was an outlier in my program in comparison to those who needed the loans to study and live. I'm in debt forgiveness because education is expensive, yet essential to any sort of human advancement. The trip she was talking about were the resorts in the Caribbean. She had a few other terrible takes. For example, she once told me that students don't have to tip in restaurants because we're just as poor as the wait staff. A huge amount of high interest credit card debt is a terrible decision. I had two health insurance policies for 2 years. Didn't notice until I had a retirement solutions specialized review. My bank account. Driving an expensive luxury vehicle with the windows down in summer because you can't afford to fix the AC. Oh man, that is just embarrassing, dude. Multiple Warhammer armies. Where do you find these stories? On Reddit. I am on Reddit. Right here. We are on the subreddit. Yep, yep. Which one's the craziest story? Let me see. Let me go over them. The craziest story I've seen. I there's a lot of there's a couple crazy stories. Let's go over them. Hmm. Okay, this is just like cars, stocks, buying property, using home equity for dumb stuff. Oh, the worst? The worst one was when this dude, the craziest one was that this dude in his mid 30s was making $50,000 a year. And then he decided to go back to school to make more money. And he decided to study psychology, which isn't a high paying job. He decided to get a bachelor's in psychology and eventually a master's in psychology. And he moved out of state to a more expensive state just so he can say he studied there. So he ended up getting into student loan debt, and then he also bought a fancy car while before going there. And the person telling the story was like, I don't know if he actually found a job, but $50,000 a year was good money compared, because I think some psychology jobs pay $40,000 or even $50,000, but there's a lot of people psychology is the number one thing people study in college, and majority of the people don't use it because there's not a lot of psychology jobs. You don't There's a lot of, how can I say, there's a lot of programming jobs, there's a lot of business jobs, there's not a lot of therapist psychology jobs. There's very few, and the very few who get it, I guess have master's degrees, but yeah, I don't know. It ain't it ain't the best. Welcome, welcome, Zenitsu Simp. Welcome, welcome. So one of the craziest ones was when someone bought crypto and lost 65% of it. There's another sad one that someone tried to make money. Thank you for the follow, Zenitsu Simp. Someone was trying to make money for a year, day trading, and they researched forever. They had sleepless nights, anxiety. They put so much effort into day trading that at the end of the year, they only ended up making $100. Cause like day trading, you lose some days, you gain some days, you lose money some days, you gain some money some days, you lose some days, you win some days. And at the end of the year, he only ended up making $100. I've heard similar stories like that, like people who day traded. They don't really make money. They lose and gain money, and like at the end of the year, it doesn't really add up to much. I spent $800 on Lululemon activewear. There's another terrible one. Could not be me. Yeah, I know these are freaking terrible. There's another one where like this person was studying to be was studying to be a doctor, and while he was in medical school, he got into himself into $300,000 in student loan debt, which is gonna add up to more. But because they're a doctor, they're probably gonna make $500,000 a year, and then they're gonna eventually pay it off. But yeah, that's the crazy thing about being a doctor. You make a lot of money, but you're also in a lot of debt. So this person, their worst financial mistake is that they got into student loan debt and then they ended up dropping out. I gave up on pretty much everything. At this point, the reason I exist is only because I didn't. Because if I didn't, it would make others sad. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Yo, that sucks. Yeah. Student loans are really freaking sad. You're like setting people up for financial ruin. Student loans and car payments are setting so many people up for financial ruin. And you're not even guaranteed a job. A lot of people on TikTok are complaining that their jobs out of college, after being like $40,000, $80,000 in debt, their entry level jobs are offering 17,000. I mean $17 an hour. Entry level. Wow. Entry level, guys. You know what's crazy in America is that the one mistake in your economy just makes you a homeless caveman. What? You know what's crazy in America is that one mistake in your finances could. True, true. Yeah, true. I totally agree. Totally agree. Like getting into student loan debt, getting into car debt. Getting into car debt is definitely a terrible idea. If you can't afford a car, you probably shouldn't buy it. But yeah, I'm not here to give you financial advice. I am literally just reading subreddits about financial mistakes. This is welcome, welcome. Hello, 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 Hayes. Welcome. But yeah, damn, that was very nice of them, telling them that. Yeah, same. It gets better. Wow, that's sad. Okay, what screwed this person over was buying a house in 2007. I'm pretty sure, I think it's this year because interest rates are high. People are holding off from buying houses because they don't want to end up paying more. Um, a lot of people end up getting car loans, financing a car. I seen a guy say if you cannot afford the monthly payments for the car, you that just because you can afford the $500 monthly payment for the car doesn't mean you should get the car. I mean, you can afford the monthly payment, but it's gonna keep you in debt for like multiple years, and you're probably gonna pay double for that car. Like if you get a $30,000 car, you're gonna pay 50 to um $60,000 for the car. Welcome. Yo, why is it telling me to invite Hayes? Welcome when Wacon horse. Welcome. That sucks. Yo, that sucks. Mm-hmm. Getting chronically ill and not being able to work. Buying a game computer instead of a second hand car, I guess. Yo, if you like that computer, you should. It's fine. Jesus. Some of these are so sad. I do not want to read them. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. These are so sad. Not getting a full time job until I was 34. How? How? What were you doing before that? Kicking back? Damn. Yo, this is getting me motivated, guys. Reading these stories are getting me motivated. Welcome, yeah, welcome. Yeah, something that could screw a lot of people over is getting your money out before your investment reaches its peak. This is why a lot of people lose money. Like, in 2021, so many people were getting rich off of crypto, and then they decided to keep holding until their crypto went higher. They thought it was people. A lot of people think when their investment goes high, it's gonna keep going, keep increasing. The price is gonna get higher, but no. Um, yeah, the price went lower. Like, yeah, there's this saying when you invest is don't be greedy. If you make good returns and you're comfortable with that, take out your money and get your gains because you can't predict. No one can predict the market. It's gonna go up or down either way. Oh my god. So this person was investing. They don't say what they were investing in, what stocks they were investing in, but they decided to get They made $14,000 in profit versus 30 million. It's wow. So current time, they could have had $30 million have they kept their money in their investments for longer periods of time. They're like, I could have had 30 million right now, but I ended up taking them out early because I made $14,000. Wow. $14,000 versus 30 millions. I still bash my head in a wall when I think about it. Wow. Jeez. I wonder what that investment was. It was probably Nvidia, or at that time it could be Coinbase. It could be Lockheed Martin because of the wars. Could be military companies or tech companies, weapons companies doing stuff for the military. U.S. government military. Okay, the people who tend to get emotionally and financially invested in single companies or projects tend to take far more risk and feel far worse about it unless they happen to get super lucky in an investment does unnaturally well consistently. The real answer here is that you didn't lose out in millions of dollars. You removed yourself from that potential outcome. In the same way, you also removed yourself from the outcome where the investments blew up and left you with zero. What actually happens after you crash out is irrelevant because risky financial decisions will likely lead you to lose money no matter what. If you didn't pull out the $40,000, would it be at $30,000, at $50,000? What if it fell to $25,000? Do you cut your losses? The key here is to understanding that the statistically correct choice may have backfired in this instance, but was very much still the smart one. Yeah, because you can't predict the future. You cannot predict the future, man. No way you could have known. Yeah. All right, we are 2 hours in. Yo, guys, I need to wake up early because I don't know. I feel like definitely wake up early. Mhm. All right, I'm gonna look for more of these crazy stories. But yeah, guys and gals, thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys. I will see you guys later. I'm gonna look for some more stories, and yeah, I'll see you guys later in a few hours. All right, later. Bye bye. I've gone live for 10 hours. How? How have I gone live for 10 hours? Really? Wow. Huh? Uh, oh my God. TikTok ya quita mucho dinero.
I have the latest report, sir. Where should we... Hi, can I get a dirty chai? You got it. Cash or card? Cash or card? What kind of a question is that? easily could have waited for me to pull out my wallet and see what I handed him.
If you're not interested in world politics, you are missing out. Because every week we are getting clips like this from Britain. What are your intentions with Britain?
Found yourselves.
Janelle, I was just taking a picture of her with her phone.
Oh my god.
I'm hearing 5 different songs. Yeah.
5 different songs in the background.
Does anyone fucking love?
I'm probably gonna have to delete this video, but it's the truth. Weak, negative, and over-emotional people are a disaster waiting to happen, and they will wreck your life. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't care for someone. That doesn't mean that if your friend or family member is going through something that you shouldn't look out for them. But when it comes to who you spend the bulk of your time with, whether it's your friendship, whether it's people that's in your close proximity, or it's people you're trying to be successful with, choose wisely. Negative, over-emotional, and weak people are infectious, and they bleed that hesitancy and that weakness into every single person that is around them. If you surround yourself with the opposite, aka winners, people who are resilient, people who are tough and push past adversity, who will also bleed into you as well. And if you are one of these people, it's time to toughen up. You have to become more resilient. You have to push past adversity, and you have to build yourself up into the person capable of handling problems and succeed. I'm probably gonna.
NVIDIA employees are making so much money that the company is actually less productive because of it, due to the high demand for GPUs and
shooting the shit because I'm on live and I can easily just hop my scooter like that and hit Uber. So I'm chilling in that regard. But there are people that legitimately need that, like, you know, will here. Plenty of other mobility issues that hinder people from being able to easily keep going as I just did, and it's not fair to them, you know? So yeah, it's cute for my TikTok live fans, but nah, this is shit. Everyone deserves to cruising and, well, not cruising, but cruising down the road, baby.
We always hear from the successful OF models, but what about the ones that failed? That shit has to be the most humbling experience ever. Imagine busting your pussy out for the internet and no one buys it. Do you blame the marketing or do you blame your pussy for that? And is there any way to regain your regular presence on social media? Because with OF models, I mean, they're always marketing no matter what. Click here to see my spicy content. Click here to see my first threesome. Can you pivot from that to just posting like, oh, here are the tacos I made for tonight, hashtag Taco Tuesday.
You can't. That's funny.
When everyone knows your old path was busting it wide open for the internet. Because as a society, we are blinded by the OF models who go to Dubai, have Lambos, have Raris, have chains. Now what about the ones who drive Nissan Altimas? Shop at the Gap. I had to give up on the dreams because it didn't work out. At the end of the day, corn is just the entertainment industry, no? I feel like there has to be the only top 1% making it out there in that field. I'm not talking down to OF models or people who do corn. Do whatever you want. It's a free country. But to everyone with a failed OF career or a failed corn career, please just let us know what happens after.
Maybe the happy ending is you continuing to be the soft, loving person that you are despite the way the world has tried to defeat you. Maybe it is a calm nervous system, a peacefulness that cannot be threatened. Maybe the happy ending is you moving on, is you giving yourself the love you never got but always wanted. Maybe the happy ending is you embracing change, is you going in the direction of the things that grow you and move you and magnety your spirit. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we are not responsible for other people's poor behavior towards us, or their gaslighting, or their manipulation, or their unkindness. That's on them. What's on you is how you choose to respond, set boundaries, know your worth, and not let their actions impact the beautiful soul that you are. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated.
I don't know.
In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. Maybe the happy...
Wow.
The happy ending is you continuing to be the soft, loving person that you are despite the way the world has tried to defeat you. Maybe it is a calm nervous system, a peacefulness that cannot be threatened. Maybe the happy ending is you moving on, is you giving yourself the love you never got but always wanted. Maybe the happy ending is you embracing change, is you going in the direction of the things that grow you and move you and magnify your spirit.
¿Cómo
va?
me dijo, ¿cómo te fue?
Bien, ¿y a ti?
Bien,
¿Cómo te ha ido?
bien. ¿Y a ti?
También bien.
Bien. ¿Quieres Doritos?
¿Chetos?
Ujú.
Oh, ya claro.
Ujú. ¿Quién lo va a hacer?
¿Y tú?
¿O él y yo?
¿Y mi papá?
¿Y tu papá? Llamó. No, habló por teléfono y me dijo que venía en la tarde.
¿Ellos han sido steak?
No, no sé. Sí, se han hecho. Ujú. ¿Por qué?
Se ve que ya se está acabando.
¿Ya se está acabando? Sí.
Sí. Puro scallops quedan. Ajá. Hey, Pat.
What's up?
How'd it go?
Good. You?
What?
What?
Why do you look shorter?
To encounter the defeats
I think you're not standing up
so you
straight.
know
What?
who you are,
Stand up.
what you can rise from.
Stand up. Okay, good.
What?
Full shirt.
Thank you. I'm trying to work. Trying to focus. How was your day?
Good. Why?
I'm just asking.
Honestly, I'm not sure if I can show this one live. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if we can show this one live. So,
Como que dice, como de que
Thank you for the art piece. Thank you, Chanel. Thank you.